Star Wars, you just turned 40. Missed me by 2 years. Damn, I'm old. Hello, G-Show Land, and welcome to this very special episode of The Force Awakenings. It is IG-1, and I am flying solo like Han today. It's going to be a short podcast. I just wanted to get this up, though, because Star Wars is 40 years old today, and Star Wars is my favorite thing as far as movies go in the entire galaxy. So I just wanted to post this up, a little birthday shout out to Star Wars, turning 40. And I just wanted to bullshit a bit about my love for Star Wars and what it's meant for me personally. So bear with me, because we're going to get into it. And again, it's just me. Again, Han Solo like Hans. It's just G1 hanging out with you guys. So, Star Wars, yeah. I turned 40 years old. May 25th, 1977. Unbelievable. I wasn't alive then. I wish I was. I was born 2 years later. Oh, real quick. Shout outs to Alien. 1979. Today is its birthday. So, yeah, Aliens, you got me by 6 months. Alien, I should say. You got me by 6 months. So, 6 months. I've had a couple, G-Show Land. I came home from work, and I can't lie. Memorial Day weekend is this weekend, and I got my drinks in early. Long day at work. Long day in every, I don't know, sense of the word. Anyhow, Star Wars. Aliens. Shout out to Aliens, like I said. May 25th, 1979. Happy birthday to you. But this is Star Wars. This is the shit that just jump-started a culture, if you will. Think about it. It was the first, legit blockbuster, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember when Jaws came out. Jaws might have came out after Star Wars. I don't know, and I'm not looking for it right now. But as far as, the epic goes, Star Wars is the first epic. It transcended anything we've seen before. Yeah, and sure, we've had, a fair share of epics, quote unquote. The only one that comes to my mind, in all honesty, is probably The Wizard of Oz. Only because of it went from black and white to color. It was the first colored movie, and it broke grounds. But Star Wars was the first blockbuster. And let's talk about that for a second. Blockbuster. What does that term mean? Because nowadays, we hear that term, it's thrown around a lot. It's just, it's a blockbuster. But you don't really, we don't really pay attention to the word. We don't really understand what blockbuster means. So, Star Wars being the first blockbuster, and pardon me if you hear me doing the sniffling thing, my allergies are on overdrive right now. I need to pump a couple of Afrins up the nostrils, but I haven't done it because I wanted to do this. So, that aside, you'll hear me do the little sniffles because allergies got my nose running. Star Wars, blockbusters, here we go. We throw the term blockbuster around a lot. And sometimes we really don't grasp what it means. Now, Star Wars created that term blockbusters. At least in my opinion, from everything I've seen so far, Star Wars was, not so far, from everything I've seen, Star Wars was the legit first blockbuster. And when you think about that, take a second to think about that. Blockbuster, what does it mean? Doesn't mean you're busting up blocks. It means that the lines were around the block. Blockbuster. Now, I've been around for a couple of blockbusters in my time. The one that I can remember the most from when I was a child was Batman. Batman, 1989, was a blockbuster. Ninja Turtles, 1990, was a blockbuster. And in terms of the size of the crowd gathering to see this movie, to buy tickets, because we live in a day and age right now that we can go online and pre-order tickets very early. So, like, for instance, I've already got my Wonder Woman tickets. I can't wait to see that. That's coming out in a couple of weeks. Next week actually. We didn't have that back then. They didn't have that back then. So you would have to line up at the box office to buy your ticket. And sometimes that line went around the block, thus the Blockbuster. And Star Wars, if you pay attention to these photos from back in the days, and if anything, today, and I am recording on the 25th. See, because it's only 9:41 Pacific time for me, so it is still Star Wars' birthday. So if you go back and look at these pictures of Star Wars in 1977 when it came out, you'll see the lines. You'll see the lines going around the corner, around the block from the box office because people were excited for this brand new, really weird, funky type of movie that's, pretty much never been done before. Sure, there's been some, wacky shit, but this was something different. And I can't speak for the people back then, because again, I wasn't alive yet. And Star Wars predates me by 2 years. So yeah, G1's getting up there in age. But if you think about the people who saw it and what they were excited for, this was it. This was the first big, again, blockbuster is the only word that comes to mind because that is something we're so in tune with. It was such an experience for people to be lining up, going around the block, and then they see the movie. And, I mean, if you guys are Star Wars fans like me, you've seen the interviews with George Lucas and the cast, and you've been there. You've done all that. And you've seen how pretty much it was written off. This wasn't going to do anything. It wasn't. But do you know Star Wars was one of the catalysts for Comic-Con? I mean, seriously. Star Wars brought together a culture that we now call that geek culture, which I am so ingrained with because I love it. And it really does stem from Star Wars. But it brought us together. Star Wars brought people together. Star Trek did it too. Star Trek had that message of bringing people together, just destroying race lines and just incorporating people. And it was a strong message of hope and in science fiction and futuristic. Like, what do we want from the future? That was Star Trek. Star Wars didn't do that. Star Wars took a page out of history. Okay, George Lucas took a page out of history, and I'm gonna bring up some Akira Kurosawa stuff. I've never seen the Hidden Temple and anything like that, but I understand because again, been around for a while. I've done the research. I'm sure many of you have. Lucas took a lot from Akira Kurosawa's movies. He put it into Star Wars. A lot has changed. Star Trek, the idea of being together, kind of went away from that. Lucas looked at history and looked at the very vile and evil things from World War II, let's take, as far as the Third Reich and the Nazis go, and he crafted and created the Empire out of that, and you can see it. I mean, and I'm not trying to get political here, but you get it. Stormtroopers with the white armor, Aryan Nation, all white. Listen, it's what it was from then, and people latched onto it because Star Wars was one of those movies where it's black and white. It's good versus evil. It's what it is. There's no shades in between. Later on, you might get a couple of shades, but A New Hope, 1977, May 25th. Oh, that was black and white. Okay, you introduced to Darth Vader. He's a deep bass voice coming out of this, frightening samurai-like figure who carries a laser sword. We don't get to see it until later on, of course, with Obi-Wan, but the the menacing aspect, if you look at it, I mean, Darth Vader comes in and he towers over everybody. It's scary, you know? At this time, and I'm just trying to, put my brain into somebody who's seeing it for the first time in 1977. You know, what was their reaction? What were they seeing? What were they going through? Because I don't think there was anything like that beforehand. But this is what is now. So it's a very easy. It's a very easy movie to follow. It's 1+1 is 2. There's Darth Vader. He's looking for some plans. You stole something from me. We want it back. We the badasses of the galaxy. You're giving it to us. If not, I'm gonna kill you all, destroy you all. Blah 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 blah. We meet the two droids. One of the droids has the plans for the Death Star. They just so happen through fate or the Force to land in Luke Skywalker's hands. And I mean, for me personally, absolute brilliance comes from that. And I mean, y'all really have no idea how much I love Star Wars. Star Wars, like, I live by the philosophy a lot of the times. The do or do not, there is no try. I mean, just there's a lot of things that Star Wars can teach a person. And just not to be afraid of venturing out and doing what you have to do. Sure, you might lose an aunt and uncle, okay? Your surrogate parents, but is that too high of a price to pay? Who knows? I'm not going to get into that because that's a little bit morbid. What I will say is Star Wars changed the landscape of cinema. George Lucas changed the landscape of cinema. When A New Hope dropped, the blockbuster became relevant. Sorry again, a couple of beers. And completely took Hollywood by surprise and then by storm. George Lucas also, smart man that he is, said, you know what? I want all the toy rights. I'm gonna market this thing out of the ass, and he did it. And he, with Hasbro and the toys, and trust me, G1, he had a lot of those figures. Yeah, they were after the fact because I wasn't born in '77. But for Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, you best believe I had the damn toys. You best believe I had an AT-AT. You best believe, for you guys and gals old enough to remember like I do, you guys remember the old school Darth Vader and 3PO carrying cases. And you can fit like, let's say 40 Star Wars figures in them. Man, I had both of them. They were awesome. I loved it. One of my favorite things in the world when I was a kid. This is all George Lucas. The creative Star Wars. Massive props to him. You gotta tip your hat. The toys were phenomenal. I mean, shit. As a grown-up, when they started to re-release the figures and like remake them, literally remake them, because they weren't the same things that we got back in the early 80s. I went out, like, I sought out all of these fucking toys. Like, I was adamant about buying everything I could get my hands on. Like, I didn't care. So, I went out and I bought all the brand new, original trilogy figures. I did it. I didn't care. While I still had, like, my Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker. I still had my Boba Fett. The old school ones from the 80s, I still had them. And I had a slew of others, and they've gotten lost in translation somewhere along life, which still pisses me off to this day. Because one of my favorite Star Wars toys of all time was the TIE Fighter pilot. I had that when I was a kid. I had the original TIE Fighter pilot as a kid. I had it. And I remember burying it in my grandmother's yard. And I remember going inside to eat dinner, coming back out to try to find it, and I couldn't find it. So I don't know if I buried it too much, or I didn't bury it too much, and somebody saw me burying it and then came in and scooped it up, or my grandmother's yard had quicksand in it, and I don't know, but it was gone. Vamoose, disappeared. I also have one of my favorite Star Wars toy, Crix Madine, who didn't come into the picture until Return of the Jedi, but for whatever reason, I've always had an attachment to the Crix Madine figure. And if any of you out there is as old as I am and did the same things I did, I used to chew on those figures' hands and feet for whatever reason. It was like a teething toy, even though I didn't need to teeth. I was just, some adolescent punk kid who used to chew on their Star Wars toys. So my Boba Fett, his foot is all messed up, and I think the hand with the little rocket kind of chewed on that too. What a dick. But yeah, that's what I used to do. But jumping back to Star Wars and just getting, I want y'all to understand, or try to understand. I'm trying to explain what it means to me. It is something that's very important to me in my life and just how I view the world and what just admiration I have for the movie. It's fucking Star Wars, man. It is, and I know a lot of people don't like Star Wars, but I'm gonna tell you, man. Even the haters, just watch it, and if you can get the philosophy out of it the way I did. I mean, listen, I used to work in a supermarket. While I was in high school and getting out of high school, I started working in a supermarket, and it was a part-time gig, and I used to come home, and my father used to be home, and I get along with my pops, but back then it was different because I was a geek, and my father was just not having that shit. And I would come home from my 4 hours at the supermarket, and I said my father wasn't having it. Yet Christmas time, he would buy me this fucking Star Wars VHS set. Yeah, that's how long ago this was. THX remastered shit before the special editions. Okay, this is before I met my wife. I would come home with a big bag of Doritos and a fucking 1 liter of 7-Up, and I would watch Star Wars. Legitly. Not even lying. I would put them on, and I would put them on rotate, and I would watch them and watch them and watch them. Didn't pop the tape. This was before DVDs, but I would watch Star Wars, and this was like an everyday ritual for me. And of course, this was before my second favorite thing of all time, Godzilla, came into the mix. That was in 1996 or 7 when that happened. But Star Wars was always with me. Star Wars, I have Return of the Jedi on VHS, like legit copy from a video store though. I don't know how the fuck that happened and how that got into the collection, but somebody didn't return the Return of the Jedi tape, and we wound up keeping it. And Return of the Jedi that's my favorite Star Wars movie to date. I mean, I love all Star Wars movies, but that's my favorite one. And yeah, I still have it. My mother came down here with a bunch of from New York. She came to Vegas with a bunch of stuff, and that Return of the Jedi tape was in one of the bins she brought along, and I freaked out. I legitly, I didn't cry weepy, but I choked up. I teared up because it was such an integral piece of my past, and I thought that tape was lost. I would never see that again. And there it was. It was brown case, and there it was, Return of the Jedi, and I couldn't believe it. And I was mad because I was like, fuck, my VCR don't work. Because if it did, I'd pop that son bitch in. And I set my daughter down, and I say, yo, you watch this shit right now. And I don't care if she liked it or not. Just the fact that I made her watch it. She had to watch it. And she's seen Return of the Jedi. Sure she has. But something different about the way you experience something. And then get to, have your child experience it the same way you have. And what I mean by that is with the VHS, because in this world of DVDs and Blu-rays, because believe you me, I've got the DVDs and I've got the Blu-rays. I've got the special edition VHS tapes, but that's not the way I want to show it. I wanted to show the original edits, the way I saw it in the theater, because I did see Empire Strikes Back in the theaters. I was very young, but I remember Return of the Jedi in theaters, and that was fucking awesome. And it's Not because I remember Return of the Jedi isn't my favorite Star Wars movie. No, Return of the Jedi is my favorite Star Wars movie because I'm a simple man with simple likes, and they had the ground battle, the air battle. Let me rephrase that. They had the ground battle, the space battle, and the lightsaber duel, all in one movie. And for me, that was it. That was the pinnacle. And to this day, I haven't seen anything better than that. And that goes for the prequels, Episode 7, and Rogue One. And I love all of those movies. Believe you me, I do like the prequels. I can't hate on them. I mean, they're not as good as the OT, but I enjoy the prequels. I really, really do. Especially Revenge of the Sith. I don't care what nobody says. That's like that's like one of my favorite movies ever. I like Revenge of the Sith, and a lot has to do with, okay, we know it's coming. And then we get Obi-Wan versus Anakin or Darth Vader at that time. And then John Williams' score. And as you can tell, I am going off on many different things, but it's still all in the Star Wars bubble. We're celebrating Star Wars 40th anniversary. So I'm just going to talk Star Wars here. It's just me. And like I said, I got a couple of beers in me. But it don't matter. We're going. So yes. So Revenge of the Sith, one of my favorite Star Wars movies because of that. I'm a sucker for shit like that, man. And that ending was just boom. Like, I'll never forget. I will never, ever forget. We getting our tickets. I bought the tickets for episode 3. And we're at the Ziegfeld Theater in New York City. When I say we, I mean G2 and myself. G2, what's up, brother? G2 and myself, we worked literally right in front of the Ziegfeld Theater. And the Ziegfeld Theater is where they had the big premieres at all the time. And it's a crazy theater because it was only one screen in the theater. And it had a balcony and the lower, a lower deck. And they did the whole curtain pull back. It was crazy. It literally always reminded me of like King Kong for whatever reason. Every time we went to see a movie there. Because I could just picture King Kong there. But the Ziegfeld, we used to work right in front of that building. Right in front of that theater, I should say. And I'll never forget. I was like, yo, when episode 3 comes out, I'm not going to work, man. I took the days off. We had it. We were camping out. The 501st were there 2 weeks before the movie even started, which pissed me off because I was like, damn, I want to be the first online because I'm just that type of Star Wars fan. But the 501st, the 501s, the Stormtrooper Brigade that goes around the country for charity and shit, massive props to them, they were there. And across the street from where we worked in the Ziegfeld Theater is the Hilton Hotel. So they were staying at the Hilton. And what they did was they pitched tents. And they would have, a couple of people stay in the tents one night while the others stayed in the hotel. The next night, the hotel people would come down so the tent pitchers could go up and stay in the hotel. And that's how they did it for 2 weeks. And I kid you not, I was like, legit 2 weeks. I was pissed. I was like, man, fuck all of y'all. Like, for real. You ruining my Star Wars, fanaticism right now. Like, y'all in my way. But it wasn't that bad. It really wasn't. Because I already had my tickets for opening night. And I was going to see it with these people anyway. And back then, it wasn't reserved seating. At least not for the Ziegfeld. We didn't have reserved seating. We would just go in. We had our tickets. And I'm the type of guy I like to go to back row. Sit back row in the middle. Or maybe off to the side. Because sometimes you just got to get up and go down. Because I got a bad knee and it hurts. But we had our tickets, so I really wasn't that pissed off. But I will never forget that we would sit there. The night before the movie, we had planned, G2 and myself, and there was, I don't know, there was like 7 or 8 of us going to see this movie. But because G2 and myself worked together at the same place, right downstairs, right upstairs from where the movie was going to be shown, we were lucky. So we had like a little beach chair, whatever. And after work that Thursday night, no, I'm lying. After work that Wednesday, we were going. No, it was Thursday. I think it was Thursday. we were going down and we were hanging out and we were gonna do the whole damn thing. No, it was Wednesday. It was Wednesday because Thursday we did the midnight show. So yeah, no, Wednesday we were going down there to secure a spot online after the 501st. We were going down there to secure a spot and make sure when we got in that theater we got the good seats. Unfortunately, your boy G1, that's me, forgot the fucking tickets at home. So I'm a moron, right? So yeah, and I'll take that. I dumbed out. Forgot the tickets. So I say, hey, yo, G2. Okay? Listen, bro. You gotta hold the fucking line, bro. You gotta hold the spot. You gotta hold the line. And he said, I got you. Go get the goddamn tickets before I knock your ass out. I said, all right, G2, I'm out. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. So now I had to go from Manhattan, right? All the way to Brooklyn, Red Hook, to go get the tickets. And I mean, it's like an hour. Literally, it's like an hour. It's an hour train ride. I got to get on the train. Then I got to get on a bus to get the damn tickets. Then I got to get on the bus to get back on the train. And of course, you got to wait. You know, the buses come every 25 minutes or some odd shit at that time of night. The train's pretty, they run pretty much on clockwork. I can't say the same for now. I don't know. I just see what I see on Facebook. I live in Vegas. I drive. I don't need to take a train anymore. But, people in New York right now complain about the MTA. Back then we did, but not for this particular day. So anyhow, I go home. I scoop up the tickets. I shoot back. And G2 is all like, yo, son, guess what? And I'm like, what? He's like, yo, we going to see Revenge of the Sith early. And I said, what are you talking about? G2 was sitting. Oh, God, I was so mad. Yo, G2, if you hear this, man, I was mad. I was mad at you, brother. G2, all right, was holding the spot for me while I went to get the tickets because I did the bonehead thing. And they came up to him and said, hey, would you like to see the movie right now? Mind you, this is Wednesday, okay? The movie don't start till Friday, but special screenings, Thursday midnight shows, Friday, I guess. He was like, no, I gotta hold the line. And I appreciate the shit out of G2 for that. Because if it was me, I'd have been like, yes, fuck it, I'm in. I want to see it right now. But it wasn't me. And massive props to G2 for that. He said, I got to hold the line. And the person was like, okay. But do you want to see it early regardless? And he said, what are you talking about? So she was like, well, you and two of your friends can see Star Wars Episode 3 tomorrow. And he goes, yeah, what time? Because we're going to see it tomorrow. Tomorrow meaning midnight, Friday, really. So we was the whole fucking day sitting out there. That's the type of shit we want. And she goes, no, you can see it at 7 p.m. Early screening. He was like, yeah, no, sign me up. And sure as shit, I got back to that motherfucking, the line with the tickets in my pocket now. We're ready to go. We got our fucking seat. We're chilling. At that time, I didn't drink. But I smoked a shit ton of Newports. So I had my 2 packets of Newports. I was ready to go. And don't smoke, ladies and gentlemen. It's terrible. It's a fucking horrible thing. I stopped smoking. And I feel better for it. But I drink. But anyhow. I had my 2 packs of Newports. I was ready to go. I had a little cooler and had a couple of fruits and vegetables. I had shit, to munch on. And G2 laid it down. He said, yo, son, we going to see this movie tomorrow at 7 o'clock. I said, what? He said, oh, hell yeah. I said, what are you fucking talking about, bro? What are you talking about? And he was like, yo, they came up to me, and I was going to see this movie right today. I said, are you fucking kidding me? You didn't? He was like, nah. And again, massive props to G2, because I would have been like, yeah, sign me the fuck up. That's just because of my love for Star Wars. So, this long story short, we, that Thursday, got to see, it was me, G2, and his brother, got to see Star Wars Episode 3 at 7 p.m. with a bunch of critics, and it was a couple of other people there. and I fucking loved it. I mean, I fucking loved it. And I came out of that theater and got right back in line because now at that point in time, the rest of the people that were coming with us to see the movie at midnight were there. So my brother, for instance, my boy Bean, aka Aunt Bash, it was a bunch of us. I believe Chrome was there. I'm not sure, but Chrome, were you there? I don't remember. But there was a bunch of us. And I know Anthony was there, G2's cousin. They're online already. And we come out of this movie and we just finished seeing it and we're fucking gushing. I'm gushing because you don't know. That sequence with Obi-Wan and Anakin, that music hit, and this all goes back to what I was trying to say from the jump. That shit touched me in such a way, it made me squeal like a pig. I said, ah! I loved it. I loved it. I fucking loved it. And yeah, so episode 3 to me does no ill will to the franchise. I don't care. You can hate the prequels and I ain't mad at you. But episode 3, man, that one holds a special place right in G1's heart. But A New Hope, that movie, man. Because here's the thing. I remember when I was a kid and I used to see the scroll come up and it used to say episode 4. And I knew Roman numerals at that time. And I was like, wait, what? So I used to ask my dad, yo, Dad, what the fuck? Like, oh, I didn't say what the fuck as a kid, but he would smack me. But I was like, Dad, why does it say episode 3? Where's the other ones? And my father had no answer for that because there was no other ones. So it was kind of like I didn't get the idea of prequels back then. Honestly, to be perfectly honest with you, it wasn't until The Phantom Menace that I understood what a prequel was. I had no idea. Call me daffy or stupid, whatever, it's fine. I literally had no idea what a prequel was until episode 1 was announced. And I was like, a prequel? What? Oh, it makes sense. Okay, it's prequel, like sequel. I get it. So yeah, it used to baffle me about New Hope and seeing that, like, why is it episode 4? Where the fuck is 1, 2, and 3? Of course, in my head, I couldn't say it to my parents. They beat me. But so I was lost as a child. I didn't get it. And to be perfectly honest with you, being a kid and seeing Empire Strikes Back at such a young age, I think I was 3 when I saw Empire Strikes Back when it came out. I didn't have that reaction the way, let's say, my parents had that reaction when Darth Vader proclaims he's Luke's father. Yeah, no, that went right over my head. I was like, okay, what? I don't know, and I still didn't get it. And to me, it wasn't. I was such a you're such a young child. You don't understand the concept of story and a sequel. Like, okay, it wasn't until Return of the Jedi comes out. I'm a little bit older, well, not that much, but it was '83, so I was 4, and I was like, yeah, I guess. And I still was young and didn't fully grasp what was going on, It wasn't until a lot later in life when again, Return of the Jedi was the only tape we had. I've seen Star Wars, I've seen Empire Strikes Back, but Return of the Jedi was the only tape we actually owned. So we watched that on constant loop. And I mean, it's like I said before, man, it's my favorite Star Wars movie. It's not because of a nostalgia thing. It's because I honestly fucking love that movie. I love everything about that movie. It comes to a crescendo, and it ends the way movies should end. And I love it. And I love it for that. But, it wasn't until later when you really, as you get older, you watch these movies, and some people might grow out of them. I never did. I never grew out of it. And it wasn't until later on in life, and it wasn't that late. I wasn't in my teens. I was like maybe 8 or 9 when it was like sinking in. Like, holy shit. What did this movie do? Like, Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father? What? It's insane when you think of it like that. It is insane. And this is like 8, 9 years old now. I'm finally realizing it's all coming together. And I'm like, holy shit. And sometimes I wish that maybe I was alive for A New Hope And I was of a decent age to like enjoy the shit out of that movie. And then when Empire Strikes Back comes, go into that and then just be blown away by the revelation. But I didn't get that chance. I mean, I was born after A New Hope, and I got to see Empire Strikes Back at a very young age, and saw Return of the Jedi at a young age also. So it wasn't until later that it all came together and hit me, and I was like, yes. And just everything, man. I love Star Wars. I love Star Wars. It's insane. I've got a Godzilla tattoo, 0 Star Wars ones tattoos. I need to rectify that. I should rectify that. Matter of fact, Father's Day is coming up soon. Maybe I'll talk to the wife. Hey, baby, what's up? You think maybe you could pay for a tattoo? And she goes, what tattoo, motherfucker? I say, hey, wait. Ain't no need for name calling. Maybe I could get me a Star Wars tattoo. And she'll say, you know what? Maybe you're right, and maybe I'll get one too, because I did get my wife hooked on Star Wars. So maybe in a couple of weeks we could get that going, and that would be fucking awesome. But yeah, anyhow, Star Wars means a lot to me. I love it to death. I love where they're at right now. I mean, just this past week we got those Vanity Fair pictures that dropped. And, I mean, the one with Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher, you know, in this day and age, man, that one hit hard, man. I saw that, man. That shit, fucking, that clotheslined me, man. Because for me, you know, try to understand where I'm coming from. To me, those are childhood heroes. I never looked at Princess Leia as a damsel in distress. I've always looked at her as a part of the team, you know? And with the unfortunate passing of Carrie Fisher last in November, I still can't. That shit still hurts. I can't even lie, man. But seeing that picture with Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher, Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia together, you know, or General Leia, Chris, shout outs. It moved me, man. It moved me this morning or yesterday, and it was, you know, I hope that we get a scene where Luke and Leia meet up, because we got that in the Force Awakens when Han and Leia linked up and shit. And, you know, there's a lot of people who didn't really care for that sequence, and I can't lie. Me personally, as soon as the ship doors open up, Han standing there in Maz Kanata's palace that's already blown up, and you see a couple of dudes walk off, and then there's Princess Leia's General Leia, there's Carrie Fisher. Dude, I legit tear up. I'm not lying. I see. That's my princess, man. That's my princess. I don't, you know, I play video games and all that shit, and you always gotta save the princess. She's in another cast, but screw all that shit. Princess Leia was my princess. She is the princess. I can't say that enough. So when I saw that in The Force Awakens, man, man, it chokes me up, and it's every time. It wasn't the first time. It wasn't the second time. I've seen that movie almost 100 times now, because I love that movie. I do. I don't care. I understand it's a clone, but I deeply enjoy the fucking shit out of that movie. I do. Even with its faults, I don't care about that. It's Star Wars. It brought it back, and it did what it needed to do to get us back on board. Even though I enjoyed the prequels for what they are. But yeah, I really hope we get to see Luke Skywalker and Princess General Leia, Jesus, I keep correcting myself, interact in The Last Jedi. I would love to see that. And it's hard because we don't know what's going to happen. Rian Johnson knows, the cast knows, and maybe their silence is a key to, yeah, there's gonna be one of those things, you know, or because I don't see them just straight up coming out and be like, all right, you know, Carrie Fisher did pass away, but don't worry, guys, we got a sequence with her and Luke. I think they're gonna hold on to that and save that. That's what I'm hoping for, and you know, I'm sure that's going to be the case. But then again, that's just me hoping. So But yeah, those photos dropped, and man, they were amazing photos. I loved Daisy Ridley as Rey with the lightsaber and some action pose. Poe Dameron, one of my favorite characters in the new fucking movies. I love him. I love his X-wing because I love those colors, black and orange. Yes, please, thank you. I was just mad to see it get destroyed in the trailer. No, thank you. John Boyega. I mean, I love that kid, and I've said this before on podcasts. I've loved that kid since fucking Attack the Block. So he does no wrong in my book, and I can't wait to see Pacific Rim 2. But he's Finn, and he's in the Star Wars universe, and he's a part of the rebellion or the resistance. Now, I hate that name. I do hate that name, though. I can't lie. That's one of the things I hate. The resistance. Get out of here with that bullshit. God damn it. Just call them the Republic, not the resistance. I don't like it. Unless in The Last Jedi, we get the behind the scenes in the political square, where it's not only about resisting the New Order, it's also about resistance to whatever's going on in politics. I guess I could buy that. But, we shall see. But yeah, so, I mean, I wanted to talk about A New Hope, but I went way off track. And you know what? It's getting up there in time. I think I'm going to just shut it down. I'm going to just say this. Star Wars for me means a lot. It really does, as far as it's shaping me to be the person I am. I use a lot of its philosophies in everyday life because you can absolutely take some of the philosophies and put them in everyday life. It's just one of those movies where, for me personally, hits all the right notes. And I understand the haters and the detractors, but I don't think they give it a chance. If they give it a chance, it might change their life. But that's just me. And I'm G1, flying Hans Solo today. I want to thank all of you guys for listening. If you guys listened, thank you guys. And seriously, man, this is it's Star Wars. So I appreciate it all. And if you guys agree or disagree with me, throw them in the comments. Let me know. I have no problem with good or bad. So, yeah. By the way, Emperor Palpatine, that is the greatest villain of all time. I love you, Vader, but Palpatine's better. I'm G1. This was the Force Awakenings impromptu podcast. Star Wars turns 40 today. Cheers.